So what we did yesterday is we created this crate. So that is a crate that we created. And if I go to crates.io and I go to UUID, extra. So that is a crate that allows us to just wrap UUID, and it allows us to ask in base 58, base 64, and all of these kind of things. So that is a kind of crate here that allows us to do. And I want to add that to AIPACK, but I often like to have my UUID v4, v7 in a base 64, in a base 58, or this kind of thing. So that is what is happening there. And then there's also another thing that I want to make sure that when I have a UUID v7, which is the first 48 bits are time, to be able to extract time from it, from an epoch point. So yesterday what we did is we did this live stream about implementing this from scratch. And actually we released a version, very low-key, which is this one there. So that is what we did yesterday. And so today what I want is, I want now to use that inside my AIPACK. And so the AIPACK is a real product here, which is, again, it's not a cloud, but it can be used in the cloud. But it's a way that I run custom agents all the time. So that is the thing here, which is I use a custom agents, and one of the custom agents is my procoder. I have Rust 10x, and I can run custom agents. And the custom agents, to make it simple and very scalable, I use Lua. So that allows me to have this very simple scripting, and then the Lua calls Rust. So it's very, very efficient, and Lua is amazing because it's a very simple embedded scripting language. And so it allows me to script the engine without losing the thing. So that is the thing. I'm going to do just one update on my, I have a post here that I need to update the link again. Okay, so that is what we're going to do today. So the thing here is to do that. What we want now is to take this little crate that we did yesterday, which is a UUID extra, and then use it into the AIP, my AIP CLI. So I'm going to close this because that might be a little bit overwhelming, but this is a way that I do coding with AI, but what I call production coding, which is the opposite of vibe coding. So a lot of things that I do here, vibe coder will be probably seasick, yeah, because they will say, well, that is a weird way of coding with AI because you understand what you're doing. So it's a different approach where you put a little bit more effort in front, but then it will generate. So now all of my 30–40% of my coding of what I do is generated by AI, but is fully controlled by me. So that is a little bit the difference here. So for example, when I go to, hey, eoxid void byte, sorry for the wrong URL. So for example, when I look at the code that I have, and this is the code of this crate, and it's about, I installed Toki here, which is pretty cool. It's about 28,000 lines of code. So I could go with Cursor or ChatGPT and prompt and pray. I don't like to prompt and pray. I like to have full control of my prompt. So what I've done here is an AIPACK, and I actually use AIPACK to code AIPACK. And AIPACK has a pro coder. So AIPACK doesn't know about coding, but it knows about agents. And it gives us useful APIs to code agents. And one of the agents, which I code and maintain, open source, everything, is Procoder. So what I do for the Procoder is there's this prompt file. Yeah, so if I come back here, that it should open a prompt file there, which is set it by default. And then above the equal is my prompt. Below the equal is the AI answer with some of the AI stats. So that is the way it works. Yeah. Now, in my live here, do you see my coding here? Oh yeah, good. I don't know how far back you are here on my live, but anyway, so the thing I'm saying is, well, the delay is pretty big on that. I'm sorry, I'm watching there. So the thing I'm doing now, let me reload this. Seems to be crazy. Okay, so I think I was just dealing in. So I think that now I see less delay. I was seeing too much delay, it was weird. So what I don't want is to send everything. So what we're going to do here, the way it works in my crates is I have these things where when I install it is AIP. That is a command line. So I can do pack, I can do run, and all these kind of things. Okay, and I can create a little agent if I want. So here I'm going to put, this is a little script that I have to put my AI environment keys in the terminal. So now what I can do is with AIPACK, I can create an agent, for example, my agent.aip, okay? And there's a concept of stage. And one of the stage, for example, is what you can do is stage, there's a stage data or output. We're going to get data, and it's Lua. And in Lua, you can have APIs like this, where you can say API, file, load, and then you can give anything over there. Okay. So for example, you can say file load changelog.md. Okay. And then local file, and then I will return file. And then here I can have my instructions. And I can say, can you summarize this file in 5 bullet points? You wouldn't do that. Yeah, this is silly. You will use probably a thing here. But now I can do that. It's handlebars, data.file.ext. And then I will do a data file content. And then in the output, so it's the output stage, I have Lua. And then, so here I put anything I want. The triple key doesn't matter. Yeah, so that is renders with handlebars, no matter what you have inside. And then if it's output, then I can say return AI response.content, for example. Okay, and that will return, but I can save to files and everything. So if I do AIP, run my agent, hopefully it works because otherwise it looks bad. It goes there, he send it to GPT-4.0 mini, and then it will come back and I say, oh, here it is, the summary of the thing. And then I can save agent and stuff. So now that we have that, what I've done is a Procoder, and it's open source. In the AIPACK repo, you can find the Procoder agent pack. And so that allows me to code like that. And this is a way that I code AI packs. So right now, for example, in AIPACK, and so in this one here, we're going to go a little bit VS Code. Yeah, okay, I think it's good enough. And so now what I want is I want to add the I'm going to explain you. So if you go to the source and you go to scripts and you go to script module, you get all of these codes there, this AIP agent and stuff. And this is a binding of Lua to Rust. So the amazing things about this command line, which obviously I'm very excited and I've been working quite a bit on it, is that it takes care of concurrency and stuff. So there's a very nice model, very simplified model of concurrency with Lua, but it's orchestrated by Rust. So the whole power comes with Rust. Now, the nice things about that is that I can bind Lua calls to Rust implementation. So everything is actually done in a runtime, and the scripting, the things that we do in our little agent over there, the silly stuff here, which is this guy, okay, map actually to this. I put it there and file command. Okay? So if we go to file load, boom, oh, sorry, this time I'm the test, and here's my file load. Okay, so this load, I take the Lua runtime, and then I load the files, I do the path, and then I return the object which has all of the information of the file plus the thing. So that is a way that if you go to AIPACK now, and you go to the documentation, that is a way that we have all these APIs. So we have quite a bit of APIs, which is pretty cool, because it's APIs that are very optimized to build agents. So that is a cool thing. Now, what we can do is what we want to do. So you can see here in the doc, I have AIPACK file and everything. And I want to have AIPACK UUID, which I don't have. Yeah? So search UUID. I do not have it. So that is what I want to add to AIPACK. Okay. So to add that to AIPACK, what I want to do is this one. And let me put that on. Okay, so now what I want is add this kind of thing. So the way that I will probably do it is I will come here and I'm going to add a pub mod AIP UUID. So far so good. I'm going to follow the process, okay? And I'm going to create this one. That's cool. And so now I'm going to show here how I do production coding. So in many ways, this live stream is more about showing how I code, much more than trying to find, examples or whatever. So this is really, I'm trying to share some things that I needed to code anyway. So now I have this, and then it created me the AIP UID. But as you can see, in all of those AIP guys, there's a clear pattern here. I have the init modules, I do this, and then I set the variable here. There's only one, but if I go to my flow, there's going to be more. And then there's all this kind of thing. So I can copy paste, put it there, and all of this. But that is where AI is great. Okay. So that is one thing. The second, so that is what we're going to use AI is to say, hey, look at this file or whatever file we want to look at. The one that might be good will be, text is too big, but well, yes, the web might be okay. Or the HTML is a small one, or this one. And I say, follow this pattern and implement it there, such as all of these kind of things, the way it works, the way that this code works, it will follow the pattern. So that is going to be a little bit the thing. Now, the next things which is challenging here is going to be to say, well, the problem here is obviously nobody knows, AI doesn't know about my UUID extra crate. And this is not a thing that it knows. But I want it to use this crate because I don't want to duplicate the code. So what I have is I have this crate, and that is what we do yesterday, which is AIPACK, Rust And then it was UUID extra. Okay, so that is the crate of yesterday. And so I have all the code and everything and stuff. So I could do the documentation of that. Or what I can do is actually, I'm going to do J keys here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do something which is I started to do, which is pretty cool. So I'm going to use Coder. I'm going to say to Coder, take all the files, so far so good. And I'm going to take, so Coder is, what I call the pro coder there. And I'm going to say now, and you see I have my best practice here, which is another pack. And then I'm going to say something like that. I'm going to say, and that was a previous run below, okay? But now I'm going to say, for all of the source file, create a single, concise, but complete .doc. So dot for me, it doesn't get into the repo. Yeah. And then .doc, and then we're going to say all in one.md. Okay. So I started to do that now. And with Coder, and I'm going to create some custom agent to allow to do that. But I started to take some of my libraries, which obviously doesn't know. And then I'm asking as I give everything, and just one time I say, create me all this stuff. Okay? It's for AI so that he knows the library. Okay. And now I'm going to say, go back here. I had already that, but I can say AIP run pro at Coder. So because I did AIP install pro at Coder, I have Coder. And so now it's going to get this guy. And I configure it to go to Google Pro. So that is an alias that I can have in my config that goes there. So now that I have that, I'm going to press things. And it's going to go there and generate. Actually, usually, I don't use Google Pro for that. I use a Flash 2.5, which is very good and it's very cheap. So now that will go there, and it will take a little while, but that's fine. I don't really care. And then it will create. There's a way also that I could have done, which is reduce what I'm sending to the AI. There's a function in AIPACK that prune the code, and it removes the function implementation and just keep the function signature and stuff. So that is a good thing to give to AI because you can collapse what you are sending to AI. So that is a little bit a strategy here. So I'm going to do that. So sometimes it takes a little while here. And the reason why it's taking a while, sometimes it gets busy. There's not too much files, but we'll see. But now the good news of that is we do that only once. Yeah. And that will create the thing. So done is done. Now I should have the .doc and all in one. And this is very bad. Okay. This document contains all the sources, doesn't contain all the source. No, it's not what I wanted. So, and it's fine. So sometime with AI, I'm going to use Flash. The cool thing with Pro here is I'm showing you the minute, the cost here, which is way too big, and then the stuff. And then here, I think he put all the files. So this is, I'm showing you what has been put there. And I put, that is a raw response. Yeah, it's getting confused everywhere. It's putting the files here. My prompt was bad. So there's two ways of looking at the thing and say, hey, the AI doesn't understand, I shouldn't use AI. Or the other option is say, well, my prompt was bad. So I take always the second one here. And the this is fast, man. The 2-time epoch MS description is wrong. Okay, cool. So let's fix that now. So I'm going to go there. My best practices is I did the release last time. So if we go there, git log, that was the release, I think. Well, the release was somewhere here. Yeah, so git tag v0.1.1, that is what we pushed. GPO, G tags, this is an alias to push origin. To whip, so that is my best practice, such as I always know that in main is a work in progress of the next one. Otherwise, I never know if, so usually for me, when you have a run number, is really the commit of that number. So I press save here. I'm going to say update to v, therefore git push origin. And then the cool command here was and I think I can do 1 plus. Even 2 plus, I think is good. 2 epoch time, okay, fair enough. 2 epoch time, staff description. Return the, yep, awesome. Thank you so much. Return the epoch time millisecond precision. Up, do this, git C, fix up, no, git C, fix, going to do that, comment, boom. Now, thanks a lot. Show, I don't know, show money at it. I don't know if I want to show money at it. So the thing I'm saying is that now I want for all source files. So my prompt is bad. So I'm going to say create a single documentation, concise but complete documentation file at .doc / all-in-one.md. Let's have clear function signature and return, such as we can send this to AI to know the API. So I'm going to work on this prompt here to make it a little bit better. But the point is, I want a one-time, so now we are using it, Flash 2.5. But the point here is, because this crate is not known, I have two choices. One to say, well, I cannot use AI because AI never know my crates. Or I can work in a way such as AI know my crates. Sending HTML pages and stuff, and I've done other videos about that, it's not very efficient because you send a lot of things and then it goes relatively down. I mean, the content to noise ratio is relatively low because HTML has a very high noise ratio with all these tags. Markdown is much more optimized. So now I kind of gave this whole thing. And to be honest, I think I'm very happy with that. I didn't have to create it yet. The only thing I have is to have good dog, good signature, good name, which is what we created yesterday. So now I'm going to take this guy. I'm going to say, copy absolute path. Now, go back to this guy, to my big guy, AIPACK. Yeah? So now I'm like the AIPACK. The other one is about 800 line of code, no big deal. This one, I'm going to add, so that is my best practices as a pack, but I can also put as a knowledge globe an absolute path. Boom. I put that. Yeah. Now, my code again is going to, I don't know why it does that sometimes. My code, if I go here and I do Toki, is 28,000. line of code. So what I want to do now is I want to do, I'm not going to pass everything to the code. That would be a complete waste of time. So what I want to do is to say, but I don't want to recreate the things. Yeah, I know there's an AI fatigue, but that would be silly. Yeah, just because I'm a little bit tired of AI videos, vibe coding and stuff. Should I create the whole thing by hand? Yeah, that wouldn't work. So what I will do is to say I'm going to. So typically I do that because that is a low cost, high value. It gives a good view of the AI of the whole thing, and then I'm going to add. So I know my code, so I know HBS might be a good example. So I'm going to give HBS here. And it has all the mode, it had all the thing, and that's it. I'm pretty happy with that. And I'm going to do HBS and AIPACK UUID. And then the other one I want to give as well is, no, I think is, no, I think that's good. Okay, and now I'm going to do that. I definitely do not want to use that. That was an experiment yesterday. So I'm going to do Google Pro. I could use Cloud or whatever I want. And now I'm going to say, following the AIP pattern, can you implement the AIP UID to expose? And then this is AIP UID new v4. Now I'm going to, so now rather to let AI decide, I'm actually doing the things myself. Yeah. So this way I can really kind of control kind of the API I want. So, and this is the brain power that I want to put in. I don't want to put in the brain power of doing boring management. Yeah. So I'm going to do new, and then I'm going to do new, and then the other one is new v4 because I want a new v7. So like this, I like the symmetry. So this one is the convenient, it's the obvious one. And then this one is for people that knows what they're asking. And then I'm going to want the AIP, UUID, new v4, b64. And then I'm going to do the 7, and I'm going to do that guy, 7. No, 4b54 URL, which will be the notepad. And then I want to have the same, and then the 58. And then I want the same thing with E7. So you see, it's not really vibe coding here per se, because I'm not like, in La La Land and say, hey, you decide, you are so smart, I don't need to think anymore. It's not that. It's macromanagement, yeah, without any shame. And so I'm going to do that. And now go back and I do AIP run pro at coder. And now I need to do only that. I don't know if I have the key. I don't have the keys. So here I have a little hack that put the keys inside is not part of AIPACK. So I do AIPACK, AIP, run pro at coder. boom, I do that. And that will eventually create the thing. So like this, I don't have, and I do not want, I want to have a clean pattern because there's a clean pattern of my code. There's init modules and there's a Lua documentation this way. It's very tedious to create by hand. But when it's done, this is what I use to do the documentation for the website. So I need to do it this way. So again, I could say, oh, Vibecoder is very annoying. I don't want to use AI. Or I can find a way to use AI such as I don't have to do this work. The things that happen with me is that with AI, I produce more code and the quality goes up. Yeah. So that is the thing. So if I were in a vibe coding mode, the quality of the engineering will go down. I mean, it will be okay in a while, and then you get into a crazy loop. Yeah. So now, I'm going to wait until it does. So sometimes things take 30 to 40 minutes kind of things. The cool thing is you see everything. So that was yesterday, but you will see all the stat over there. Yes, the question here, very good question, is sending knowledge on every request. What if there's too much knowledge unlinked respecting context? So right now, the knowledge is you have the control of what you want to send. And so this is where today is with context globes. And then you can comment out what you want. Yeah. So for example, this one, after I will either remove it or do the things. I'm going to add something in Procoder to allow Procoder to have agents or MCPs, I don't know yet, that will kind of determine what to add. The approach that I've taken with Procoder and AIPACK is control first, automation later. So first, we, as the guys that drive the car, have full control. We don't delegate. It's cumbersome sometimes because you have to remember to turn it off. But the fact that you have a high control is pretty good. Now, on the token size, when you use things like, for example, Gemini 2.5 Pro or even Cloud, the input is relatively low, and you have a context windows even on Cloud of 200K, and on Google and Gemini 4.1 is 1 million tokens. So it's pretty good. Now, I agree that we don't want to be wasteful and sending too many things, but typically, I will manage it like that. And then the context is the same thing. I will manage it by hand like that. And then we have structure, which is just the file path. So this one, I always send everything because it's cheap. And then working globes allows us to cache the top and to work on these guys, or even have concurrency if we wanted to have concurrency on multiple files at the same time. So that gives a huge amount of power on development. So now that we have that, we're going to see what it generated there. So hopefully I stuff. Again, it did follow exactly the pattern that I have. And it would have been so painful if I had to write that by hand. This is just super painful, but I want it like that. I want at the top to have the summary of the functions. Then after I have the Lua interface, I want the init like this to be on the top, and then my Lua function, and then the Lua function has these kind of things here every time. Okay, so that is what I want. There's a way, I think at some point I'm going to try to reduce all of these comments. They're a little bit on the verbose side sometimes. But again, that I can use AI for that, and I can use Flash 2.5. So if we go to the prompt here, and we're going to see how much it cost, 13 cents. So this one was a little bit, quite a bit. And it created the files and probably the test and everything. So it created the 11,000 token. And that is what takes quite a bit of time, of cost in a way. Now, the nice things about the way that we work is on this one, we couldn't have been cheaper because we were exactly sending what we needed by hand. Yeah. So now, one of the things is, I'm going to go there. And I'm going to check the file. So sometimes I often click here. Oh, that is interesting. UUID extra. So that is messed up. That's fine. So what? Okay, this is interesting. So one thing which is interesting, and this is why my Rust analyzer was not happy. Well, one thing which is interesting is when I ask to do the doc, and I had the same problem. I need to remember in the prompt, and that is something that I might have in my Rust 10x agents or even my Procoder or something, where I say, make single page doc for that. And I should have put the latest version there, because there's no way for AI to know what is the latest version. But if it was there, then it would have been a piece of cake. So that is one thing which was not my prompt fault, is when I created the all-in-one page. So now I go there, and then I do this, and this is where it's messed up a little bit. Interesting. That's fine if that is. So sometimes you get it wrong, AI, like we all know. But in this case, for example, I select everybody, and I'm being optimistic here. Oh, don't really help. Oh. Ah. No. Oh, okay. Well, okay. That is where somehow, okay. I'm going to explain what happened here. So somehow when he created the all-in-one doc, it kind of got messed up a little bit. I don't know. So someone, okay. So in my code, I flatten everything because I like to flatten everything in Rust. I don't like to have nested things. So I'm flattening everything, but here someone, like when I create the thing, it kind of forgot that this was flattened. And so then I'm creating a doc like that with the sections, and the sections are picked up over there. So it's no big deal. It's still much less work than creating by hand, but I have to replace these guys, which is fine. It's manageable for now, but that shows that the prompt that I have to do the single doc is bad. So one thing that I'm going to start to do for my crates is I'm going to start maintaining this all-in-one doc, at least for the small ones, because it will allow me to better use them, and I'm going to check in them. So right now it's not checked in, but I'm going to work on them, making sure that they are good, such as you can use, if you use Cursor or whatever, or Procoder, you can link them in, and then things will work. So that is one thing that I'm going to try to work on. So now we have Clippy not happy, and that is normal because I didn't give the files a way to wire this into my Lua engine. And that was by design because I didn't need it to do it. And I know where it is. So I go there. I think I know where it is. Good question. Do I know where it is? Yep. And it's there because I have this macro which allows me to do all of them. And so I'm going to do UUID. Boom. Yeah, so I just did a little macro. So in Rust, one thing that I like a lot, and I don't abuse it, but sometimes when you have repetitive code, I create a macro, even it's on the spot. And so this one, we had this init over there, and it just create that block of code for each one. And then it adds the right prefix and all these kind of things. And I use a cool macro, which is called paste, this one. And that allows us to do that pretty cool. There's a new thing in Rust, which is crab time. It's called crab time. I haven't played with it, and it's still kind of early, but it looks very elegant, and that could have been, an interesting thing. The one that I'm using right now is paste. And so is this guy, which is very used as well. And it allows to reuse prefix and suffix and all these kind of things like that. So that's make it very flexible to create those things. And OpenAI and ChatGPT, they know it, so you can use it and you can do that. So that is a little thing. So this is why I didn't want AI to go kind of crazy. And again, this is not vibe coding, because there's no way that a vibe coder will say, well, that is silly that you have to know that. Well, I know my code design, and there's a reason why I designed it this way, because I want to collapse complexity. So that is the whole goal, is how we can collapse complexity, more than anything else. So now that we have that, we are going to see if he created a test. So sometime he created a test over there. And it did create the test. Okay, that is another way here. And Oxide here, the one that is on MS Team, if you can talk here, just to make sure that it works. I don't know if you can unmute yourself or not. I would like to see that. Can you unmute or no? I think you should be able to unmute. Okay. No big deal. So the thing is, now what I want is to make sure that I can do the cargo test. The way that I have my test in Rust is, and I know that might be frowning some people, but I always have my test start with test underscore, and there's a reason for that. And then I'm trying to have the beginning here, to have this big endian or little endian or whatever, to have from generic to specific. And that allows me to have a unique name, even if it's a little redundant with a package name. It's super simple then to just filter all of the AIP UUID tests, for example. And that will run them, and then it will work very nicely. So that is another thing about this kind of design, because now I can go there and I have a little shell function. I do CWT, which is cargo wash test. And then it will take the first one, and then it will do a cargo wash test. And then boom, it's going to test everything. We're going to see. Often, by the way, AI kind of complains sometimes there. Yeah. So it passed most of them. And then there's two guys here that complains, B64. So what I do is copy paste that. I stop here. And here I'm showing you how I code all the time. Yeah. So I do a command T. I go to the function. And then I put the function like that, CWT, command V, and now my CWT is just going to test this one. Yeah? So that is super cool, because now I'm just testing this one. And now what I can do is understand what is going on. There should be a string. What does this guy is complaining about? Interesting. Okay. How does he know? One print. So that is, I have a Rust NX VS Code extension for a little snippet like that. I'm going to do B64 underscore str, press save, run. And then I can see what I have. Okay, that's base 64. The plus is base 64, yeah. It's complaining there. Okay. That's not nice. Missed that. That's weird. That's weird that he missed that. So the AI missed that, basically. And again, that is one of the things. If you were vibe coding and trying to prompt, my experience, if you try to fix this kind of thing in the prompt, you're like 30 minutes, 1 hour into a crazy cycles because he might not realize that that was a problem. Okay. So again, with AI, it allows me to create all the things to really follow my best practices exactly as I have everything else. But when there's something that thinks is a mix between first to investigate to understand what's going on. And with testing, often the thing I've seen with AI, it kind of get confused on the sometimes validating the errors or these kind of things. That is where sometimes the error much more than the logic. So this is what we have. So now this is pretty cool because we have all of this, and I'm going to check something. Yeah, very cool. So this is, sorry, I have a little headset. So the thing here that is interesting is that it really follows the best practices that I have. I set up a context of Lua, put the UID, and here we eval directly the Lua command, and it does the thing. So it's not only testing the function, which will be kind of a little bit pointless, it's actually creating the whole mock and everything. So again, it really follows the whole best practices. I could have written that, but it would have taken much more time. And the quality is actually higher, I think, that's what I would have done it because I macromanage it. So now that I have that, I will do something like, I'm actually very happy. It's much faster than yesterday. So I will do this. I will do that way to retest all of the guys. Everything passed now. I will do a git log and git status to know what I need to add. Makes sense. My agent, definitely not. That was silly. And the thing I don't understand is, oh yeah, I'm going to do a git add, this one like that. Git status. That makes sense. I'm going to see the cargo here, and I'm going to next to the UID. That's nice. Okay. Okay. That is Google stuff. Sometimes he likes to explain what he does in comments. I'm not a big fan of that, but you know, the net value is still very high, so I'm not going to complain too much. Git log, git c, and then I'm going to do a plus because we're adding a feature. So that is my best practice. So if you can go to console, for most of my libs, I have dot minor, fix, addition, improvement, changes, and refactor. You can obviously use whatever you want. And that allows me to, I think, do change logs that are a little bit cleaner because when I do a log, I do the log to get everything. And then I just filter out the one that I want to prime into my change log. So it's a nice way here to do these kind of things. And it doesn't have to be too dogmatic. We're going to say that AIP, UUID. That is cool. First pass. Now, I think it missed something. I'm going to look at it. And I'm going to do AIP UID. And I think he missed something. And what did he miss? He missed a thing to say, well, when I have the famous one here that someone told me that I make a mistake. If you have any question, feel free to ask questions all the time. I don't know if it's the same people that stay or people come and go, which is completely fine. So now if I go to this one, which is a crate that does a UID, we have that cool function, which is to epoch MS. And so this one is not implemented there. So we're going to implement that. And we could do it by hand. Or we could do it via AI. and sometimes I'm questioning myself. What I'm going to do with the AI. Okay, so now we have this. One of my best practice when I work with AI is I always make sure that when I add something with AI, I always start with a fresh commit. Like I have 0 in my pending commits. So it's always fresh. And I think a good commit discipline is critical when we work with AI, like when we work with someone else. And AI, in a way, is someone else. So that is the thing here that I'm using AI for. So this is why, in this case, I'm making sure that I don't have any star or whatever. Go get status. We start from scratch. We're happy. And now it didn't add it because I did not ask it. So I'm going to add. Stuff, and then value. I don't need to give the HBS anymore. Thanks. And then you can see here that the way that I structure my code, and this is why, again, and I'm going to try to do more, if add comments and everything, if you like this kind of session, because I want to share the way that I code with AI has completely changed over the last 2-3 months. And that is because of my coder AIPACK that really hit the ground for me. The cursor and everything didn't hit for me because I think they're trying to do a spread between the vibe coder that prompt and don't understand, and people like us. I mean, if you are here, you are obviously a real coder, or you have this passion of good engineering, and we don't understand why. I mean, it's cute, we can play with other things during the weekend, but like for production coding, there's some things that I mean, at least I don't understand. Yeah, because it's like me, I can be a good airplane pilot when it's autopilot, but believe me, you don't want to be in the plane if the autopilot is off. So it's a little bit the same thing with the Viper. Yeah, it's great people until, something is not going haywire. So that is a little bit the thing, but at the same time, if we embrace it, it really hits the ground. And in fact, I can show you something pretty cool. I always, if I go to GitHub, Jeremy, you can see where the thing hit the ground for me. This was here. And I was using AI. I've been using AI for the last, 2 years, since, the February 2023 or whatever it was. Yeah. So I've been using it nonstop. But that is where kind of it hit the ground for production. And I can do things that I wouldn't do otherwise. Yeah. So that is the thing. The only catch is that now it's even pushing me to code more because I can do more, and it's a syncing time sync in a way. So now what I want to do is I'm going to want that. Okay. That is another kind of interesting discussion, is when you code in, there's 2 kinds of APIs. There's one that are the typed language, Rust, Go, Java. And you want to be in an environment where it's very, I wouldn't say dogmatic, but it's more rigid, it's more concrete, it's more precise. You want something that, you don't pass neural. Yeah, you don't. It's everything is strongly typed, even if it requires an additional if else. Okay. In scripting, mostly about also with Lua, there is a benefit of being a little bit more loose, which is having this jQuery type for the people that knew jQuery back in the days, which is, okay, if you pass me something empty or null or whatever, and you do a filter on it, I'm not going to complain. The things that I will return will be empty or whatever in jQuery they had. Yeah, they had these things where even if you pass null, then stuff, and that simplifies a lot of the scripting of the code. So in Rust, what I don't want to say, oh, 2-time epoch MS, you can give me option of something, and then if it's none, I return none. That would be silly. Yeah, you as a staff, you need to give me the UUID. Okay. In scripting, the thing I'm going towards, because it simplifies the code a lot, is to say, well, if the value, so in Lua has a concept of value as well, like JSON, and it has a concept of null, which is nil. So now more and more I'm saying, hey, if you give me nil, I will return nil. And that gives a lot of flexibility because it won't complain. And then at the end, you can do one check if the thing is nil. So you still have to check it. And it's scripting. So I'm not saying that will be a horrible pattern for Java, Go, or Rust, or even TypeScript in a way in a backend application. But in a facade language like Lua, that might, I think it's a good pattern. It collapses the complexity on the front-end side. So what I'm going to say, hey, could you implement the aip.uuid to expose this one? But as with, and here it is, I have this guy, and I have this guy. So I want to give him, and again, this I'm so far from vibe coding here, it's not even funny. So I'm going to give this guy, don't remember, up, and then I'm going to have that. Because now, again, I macromanage all my code, yeah? I'm just here using AI to force multiply myself. So I know that in this guy, I have the pattern that I want, which basically I want to also to put in other kind of things. So I'm going to say, and by the way, the trick is you drag and drop and you press shift, and that will be the path. If you drag and drop a file, it will be the relative path. If you drag and drop a folder, it will be the absolute path, but we can manage. It's pretty cool. But as with the function, make sure that support nil and returns nil if nil. So that is the thing, and then there's error business and stuff. So I'm going to do that. And now the important thing here with Procoder is I have this session now going, so I can press replay, and it will just replay the guy. Boom. So now it's going to go there. I found that AI really helpful setting up my boilerplate, which save a lot of time. Yes. And so this is why, by the way, many times, and yesterday when I did the demo of coding with Rust, we started the crate with Rust because it created my error the way that I'm always creating it and all these kind of things. So that is what I do a lot. But it's also very useful for this kind of case. I can add much more to AI packs that I would have done it without AI, with that technique here. So it's a little bit of hand-holding, but the value I get back is huge. I hope this makes sense. So I'm going to wait. So sometimes there's kind of a waiting time here. So I'm trying sometimes to strategize. What I said yesterday is sometimes I have this next file where I'm planning what I'm going to ask next. But I'm not at the stage where I'm giving a queue of everything and I say, go and have fun. Because again, I like to have my commit very clean. I like to have making sure typically that the test pass for each commit and all these kind of things. So having the things go haywire might be, but in a way I would like to have the AI to have the thing and say, okay, things didn't work, I stop now. I need you to watch. So I'm going to implement that, but I don't want to rush it too much. So on this one, so today Gemini is a little bit on the slow side. Not sure why. If you have any questions, feel free to do things. There's the Microsoft Team as well, which I'm always trying to share. Which is always a mystery for me of how to. Yeah, the link is too high. And okay, so now it's completed. And I can go there. I will see. So sometimes I go to the changelog over there, or I look at the right and I see what he added. time to epoch. And I know exactly the API that I wanted to use, which is good. Yeah, that's good. That's good. So that is for the error message. So I press save. Doesn't complain. Oh, it does complain, no? It's a pain sometimes. No, I don't need to test v1. Why does it test v1? So sometimes it is weird. Yeah, I'm not. No, I'm happy with the stuff. So sometimes I don't have to. Oh, no, but that was the epoch. It's v7. I don't know why it's v7. I already had the v7. Okay, so that's fine. Oh, that is when it doesn't. Okay, this is when it doesn't have the timestamp. That's fair. I'm going to put v4 because oh, it has already the v4. Okay, so I don't need this one. I don't know why I had the v1. So, because I cannot create v1 anyway, so that's good. And yeah, v1 of UID, it's deprecated now. I had this timestamp, I think, it has a time nature in it, which they recommended to not use it. So that's why the AI went there, because he wanted to, test or whatever, but then we don't really need it. So I can get rid of that. And the clippy clean, I always love it. This makes sense. And then that's it. So I'm going to do a cargo test. And here too, usually I do a big cargo test, which might complain at the end because I have some stuff. Yeah, I don't have the keys. So that's why. Okay, done. Okay, so that is pretty good. And then that's pretty good. I think I have everything. So this is actually what produce mostly. Okay, so now I'm going to show you something else. Git, so the way I would do a git log, I have my git log there, I do git append, amend, because I don't need to have another commit for this one. So I like the commit per task in a way. And then this one here, I'm going to fix it manually. So I use fork sometime when that is an unfortunate spelling mistake. And so sometime there's a command here, but I always forget about it. I didn't push it back, so that's good. If I had pushed it back, I might have leave it there for people to laugh at. So I think this is good. And then I'm going to let me see if I can. No. Yeah. So I'm trying to see if people want to join the MS team, let me know. I can put the link. I think I had the link there. I don't know if you can join it from the register now. But you can always jump into the Microsoft team if you want to talk. And then what we're going to do, now that we have that, is remember when we had the AI pack, we had all of this doc. So obviously the doc is not there. Now, here's the cool things. The cool thing is the way that AI pack works has this concept of packs. So you can run an agent like we did, or we can install the things in a pack. And it goes to home.aipack-base/pack/install and everything. This pre-installed packs, one of the pre-installed pack is core doc. And here is aip.uuid, which allows me to use another pack, which is not bundled in AIPACK at all. It just happened that it's created by me as well, which now can use that doc as a knowledge, such as I can ask AIPACK to code AIPACKs, okay? Or the procoder to code procoder. And the way that I would do that is I will do something like that, where, very similar to this guy actually, I will do core, doc, and then I will put all the markdown down. And then I will be able to code. So usually I will do that, because if I code a pack, I wouldn't code the things. So then I use that for my website, such as in the website, people see it. So now the things that I need to update is this, because there's no UID business there. And again, I could go and manually add it and everything, but that will be kind of a pain. Okay? Now, if I ask AI to say, hey, with cursor or whatever, to say, hey, open bar, let's go and update Lua API, it will do it, but believe me, it will be kind of painful, because it will update too much, it will send too much context, and all these kind of things. But now, because we know what we're doing, what we can say to say, oh, okay, we're going to take that guy. We are going to take, you see, I have this, so this is why it's nice. Unfortunately, they don't allow to have multiple line objects, but you can have multiple line arrays with 2ML. I support as well YAML if you want to have a parametric prompt in YAML. So I'm going to comment this one, I don't need it. That I always leave it on, but I could even comment it out. This one I always leave it on, and then this is my Lua files. So now what I'm going to say is very precisely say, now that we have added all of the AIPACK UID, can you update the Lua APIs files only with these new additions? Do not add anything else. Okay, that's pretty cool. And now, sorry, we are going to WhatsApp. So here, this one was 14 cents. So it's starting, going back up, but much cheaper than if you were going to use any other solutions. And then I go there. And in fact, I could, if I wanted to be cheap, I will use Flash. And Flash is map. I can have model aliases, which I don't have it here because I have it in my .aipack-base. And so now when I do that, go back there, and I'm going to replay. I don't need, it's not because I change anything that I need. I could even change a procoder agents, and it will reload it and everything. And so, boom, that is bad. Okay, fair enough. GPro. I'm going to explain why. The trick here is now procoder support this kind of things, an experimental mode, which is search and replace. So sometime it will replace the whole file, and sometime it will have this search and replace, a little bit like the merge commit notations. The problem is when you use lesser models, like Flash 2.5, they don't listen that well, the instructions. And so that is where you need to fine tune, make sure you repeat yourself sometime, make sure that it's super clear, that there's no typo and everything, such as even small models can follow. So this is what I'm iterating on the prompt. And so when you have this issue here that we had, it was because it kind of got messed up on how I did the thing. And so you ask gpro. And in fact, if we go there, hopefully it did the AI prompt. You will see something like that. You see? So that is what it did. And it follows very well. So the first line is like this, but then it's only these guys. And I say, don't put lines in between the search replace pairs because otherwise I wouldn't know. And that saved a lot of money because typically, I mean, even in this case, it didn't have to replace everything. Yes, it's just it doesn't have to rewrite the whole file because the whole file is pretty long. So now if we go and look, it should be relatively cheap, this one. Yeah, 10 cents, still quite a bit, but it's actually only 4,000 token with 2,000 reasoning. So it's 2,000 writing token, I think. And will have been much more if we were going to use something else. So, I mean, if we were going to replace the whole file, because this is a big file, okay? And so now if I go there, I can see that it didn't mess around with everything. So I can see that it messed around at the beginning somewhere. I should have view UID somewhere. There. Yep. And then put the links and put everything, and then I have all my UIDs there. Again, could I do that manually? Yes. Copy paste, yes, but good luck. And so now that I have this, usually what I do, git log, and I will, typically I'll do as another commit, yeah, but it can go both ways. And this one will be a small doc. MD. That is what I will do. Any question, feel free to ask. It was a good time. I never know, you know, how many people comes in and out, but I think that is good. And then that's it. Git log. Can go test. Everything works pretty fine. And so now the cool thing here, if I go to my website, let's not get excited here. It's not updated yet because I don't have, you know, the stuff and I don't really want it. But the cool thing is I can take this file, copy paste, and yes, it's copy paste. I go to my AIPACK. You can see all the internal here. For the people that stick around, I go to AIPACK AI site. I have, so here's is how small I code, but I have SS site dev. So that is a personal tool to do my website business. And then I just go to my content. And yes, this is a little bit manual. I cannot automate it a little bit, but that is my thing. I can check it in my local host. So I will do that. I will go to index. I will go to documentation. So that is my local host. And then boom, I should have my UUID over there. Go back there. Everything works nicely. Then I'm pretty happy. Then I go that. git-c, add AIP. This is more for me. It's not even shared. And then I have another guy, notes, which is another of my SS3 that is done in Rust. So I have so many Rust tools everywhere. And those are not production coding in a way, like SS3, you can install it from the crate. Is not something really that does, it's not intended to be production right now, but it's very useful, at least to me. And that will go to SS3. I deploy it to my JC user over there. It does an e-tag, so it checks as an e-tag thing. So I implemented the e-tag or did I use a SDK? I don't remember. And now I can do to AIPACK.ai doc and reload, goes knows where. And then I have the AIPACK UID, and then I have it there. And then that's it. So it's pretty cool. We just implemented that in the thing. So this is what I call production coding. I'm also going to continue to do the web app and all these kind of things, obviously. But even when it's not production, like a cloud application, a cloud service or whatever, or if it's not a Lambda stuff, it's still production. AIPACK, I don't want AIPACK to mess because one, it's my daily productivity, so that will collapse. And now we're starting to have some users and even starting to have some clients on consulting side, so we help them implementing AIPACKs because the runtime is completely free. It's Apache MIT, so it's not like a cash me if you can open source license. It's fully open. So that's it. So I think this is the thing. I don't know how many kind of. I know that I think it's Arcady. I'm not sure. I think that one kind of stay until the end here, which is pretty amazing. So I don't know how many of you kind of stay until the end, but thanks a lot for the one that joined and even the one that joined and left. If you have any question, feel free to ask. But this is pretty good. Now, I almost have something else I want to implement, and I'm asking myself, should I do it live or not? Is the Blake stuff. And it's actually, I'm thinking about it. Might be interesting to do it. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to do it. Yeah. So there's something which is very useful when you do coding and all these kind of things, is what I call hashing. And the reason why in the AIPACK and everything, we work quite a bit with files. Yeah? So all of this Procoder, by the way, I'm going to show you something. It's open source, so you can go to AIPACK and then the repository, and you have the Packs Pro. And this is what is Procoder. That is the guideline for Rust 10x. That's it. This is only everything you've seen here. It's only this file. So AIP, which is the agent files, is about 500 line of code or 600 line of code. And then a little bit of Lua over there, 100, and then 50 or 30 or whatever. So all of that on disk is 20 kilobytes, and it does all my production coding. So the goal here is to say, how can we reduce complexity here for things that we usually have? We have new line JSON and all these kind of things. There's another one that I like a lot is a hashing. You hash things. So for example, you take a binary or a text, and you hash it, such as it's unique for that text. And that can be very useful when you're trying to compare string or pass, or pass it's easier, but long string to say, did I already process this one, or all of these kind of things. So that is another kind of AIP that I want to provide in my thing. So that is another AIP that I do want to provide in my AIPACK. So this will be something like that. This might be a little bit advanced here for now, but I don't know. I think probably too ambitious here. But rather to have AI, so we have AIPACK UID, which is what we added, this one. But now we could also add a AIPACK hash. Yeah, so the thing I'm thinking about, sometimes I do like that. Go to next. We can do an API, AIP.hash, and then we do a SHA-256. Some text, AIP, hash, The one I like the most is Black3. Black3 is awesome. And then some text. And that in Lua, so obviously in Rust, we wouldn't have an API that will return a string. Yes, you want these things to return the vector kind of things, and then you do whatever you want with the vector. But this one is that. Now the question is, what do we return on? That will return. My question is exe, perhaps, yeah? Exa. String. Okay, that's fair. Okay, this is fair. But now the way that I like it for me is I like to have my SHA like that. And sometimes when I brainstorm, I write it like this to kind of see a little bit where the thing goes. And I'm going to say where I want these things, which is going to return B64 URL and B59, B58. I don't know why every time I say 59. Which I like it because it doesn't have any special characters. It's all alphanumerical. It's a very good numbering scheme. And now I wouldn't need that for AI because I can say do the same thing for, but it's so cheap to do it that way. 256. Okay. So that is what I will use. And now I'm thinking in my head, I'm going to add, go back there. Go back to cargo to ML to see, I think I have the base 64. Do I add? I don't even have base 64. Huh. So I'm going to steal. So in this case, I don't want to pollute my UUID crate. Yeah, so that was not the goal. But I do want to reuse some of these guys. So I'm going to reuse those guys. Yeah. And then do I have a hash? Oh, that's funny. I don't have hash here. And I'm going to do that. So the base X, and then the hash, which I thought I had. So the hash, the things that I like about the hash is, sorry, I'm getting confused with my URLs. We are going to use Blake 3. Blake 3 is amazing. And then super fast. And I don't know, I just like it. So I'm going to do that. So I'm going to use this guy, and then we're going to use a SHA-256, I guess, or SHA-2. Which one is the big one? Yeah, this one. So usually, I mean, I'm victim of this one, but I think it's good. So when this big one here and big one here, it's kind of safe to use. This is a little bit, my stuff. I'm going to copy that there. Okay. Now that I have this, so I make the decision of what to do. If I were going to ask AI, he will have probably put all version and everything. So I don't want it to do that. So I know what I want. I put that there. And I'm going to start, so in my head here, I'm going to start with only the SHA-256 because it's going to be very simple for the AI to know. Black 3 is a little bit more recent, so Black 3 might not work, but I'm going to start with the thing. So again, in my next here, I have all the thing I want. So, and I can say, yeah, I have that. Now, the thing is funny, I'm thinking here. The thing I don't like is when I'm going to do that, the AI is probably going to repeat the encoding of everybody, which I'm not going to like, but that's fine. That's fine for now. Okay, I'm going to do. Okay, so this is a tool, the guy that I want it to do. I'm going to go back to my prompt. So that is my parametric prompt. Now I have my UID, which is clean actually. Yeah, I'm happy with this guy. So I can use that. HBS is actually smaller, so I'm going to use HBS. That, I don't need the big doc. So again, for the people that just joined, what I'm doing here is I'm lancing the AI to only the globs, the context globs I want it to look at. And now I also want, remember, we have this one. And then that's it. So following, so we're going to do the same thing. Following the pattern of UUID, of AIP, UUID, @rs, create AIP hash @rs for the following APIs. And again, for the one that just jumped in, I could do that manually. Yeah? So my code again is, if I go there, we have 28,000 lines of code. I could try to do with cursor, windsurf, snowboard, or whatever. The problem is the prompt, or whoever wrote the prompt in this company is going to decide, what to choose, what to send, everything. For me, the thing I've realized is first control, second automation. So right now I have the full control of what I'm going to give to my prompt, and it's relatively efficient. So I'm going to say that and say, here's what I want for the following APIs. And usually it's pretty smart. I don't need to say SHA-2 because it will know SHA-2. So here's the thing, I'm not breaking my rule. And if I break it, I'm not happy. My rule is every time I run a command, so if I press R on this one, I want to have a clean commit. So in this case, I'm going to git log to see where I am. And I'm going to say git C, which is git commit add, so on. And git commit -a-m. And then I'm going to say plus AIP, so that's my little notation, hash SHA. Okay? That will be enough for me to understand that this line is, I'm adding this to the AIP. That has been my thinking. And not the Blake, I will have another commit. So this commit is not complete, but my goal is when I'm going to do commit on top of it, I'm going to amend it. Or I could do commit sometime if the AI do something weird, I do commit, and then I rebase before I push. And then that will start. I am on main because I'm the only one. Otherwise, I could have been on a branch as well. So now I have this git log. I'm clean. Now that I'm clean, I can go there and I press R. So that what's happening there is that, again, we are using AIPACK to code AIPACK with the procoder. And so what's happening is there's a concept of parametric prompts that AIPACK allows and that procoder is using. So procoder is one of the pack. And you can build your own pack and then it goes through there and say, okay, this is your knowledge globs, this is your base dir, this is your context globs, structure globs, working globs, and this is a model you want to use, which is alias to Google Gemini. So that is what has been sending. We're going to wait until it does. And this is a stats of the previous request that we did. And so usually you have the answer there, and then the code has been extruded and put in the right files. And so the goal here is my practice for AI is I'm using git diff, looks silly to say, to see the diff. Yeah, I don't need another tool to say apply all or whatever, because Git is, I don't know how to say it. Git is a way to do that. So if we have a good Git discipline, then what the AI gives, like another developer gives, like me, what I give, it's a commit. It's changes. Yeah. So we're going to see the new files and we'll be able to navigate it through that. Any questions, feel free to ask. Again, I don't know, how many people stayed from the beginning or not. Kind of messed up at the beginning. I'm sorry. I started the live that I sent on Twitter and stuff yesterday, and then somehow I messed up my my OBS. I click on stop, and then it's ended the stream, and I couldn't restart it. So I might be missing something on that. Okay, so now I don't like that already. So he added cargo to ML. I don't know why he went there. Why did he add cargo to ML? Oh, yeah, my mistakes. Good. Actually, I like that. Because I had to have X and I didn't have X. So that's pretty good. And that's cool. Like it. And it added that. And again, the way I did that, because I have the full control. This is not vibe coding. A vibe coder here would get very sick if you look at that. I give the knowledge, I give the globes of the files I want to have. And so I say, hey, this one is a good example. So it's kind of my beacon, my candle. And then I say, hey, this is the one to look at, and then implement this guy. And I don't give the rest of the code. So this is what it generated, which is beautiful because it respects the document of those Lua binding to Rust function, which is at the top, lists all of the functions, very clean. And then it does all of these kind of things. And yes, it took 1 minute, 2 minutes. It costs 15 cents on this one because this is 30,000 tokens. So it's quite a bit of word, but it saved me quite a bit of time. I mean, I will have spent 15, 30 minutes or whatever just to put the thing in. Yep. So, and it did it in a very clean and consistent, much more consistent than what I would have done. Every time I copy paste, I forget things and things get out of work. So I do hallucinate too. I don't know if you do, but I do. Okay, so now this looks good. I might do another pass, but that looks not too bad. Yeah. This one is a one that will need to, I don't like to have all guys. We'll take care of that later. And then the cargo test. So again, for the cargo test, I have a thing which is, and this one is kind of follow it, but is always to prefix something such as we can test all of the Lua hash. So I'm going to go there. I'm going to press save here to make sure no compile error. Then CWT. So that is my cargo wash test shell function, which has some stuff. I do that, press enter, and that will go to this one. We're going to annotate it, or I don't know how I'm going to. And then that is quite a bit of failure here. Okay. So the way I do it is take this and then Command T, go to this guy, and I'm trying to do that. Expected. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah. It's AI trying to, know what to expect. I think it's getting messed up a little bit. So what I do is I have a cargo wash test, and I do the test Lua like that. And that will do both, is fine, okay? And I'm going to do 1p. What? Oh, yeah, no. It's not the Lua code, it's a result that I want, sorry. 1p. And that's my debug print. res. And the reason why I have that is because I search everything and then I remove all the stuff. Then I do this, and then I'm going to see if I have this. And you know what? I'm going to copy paste that. And I'm going to put it there. There is no reason why it wouldn't. So now I'm going to do the same thing with, so that is AI trying to be, you know, to be the brainchild or some whatever, and then obviously doesn't know. I don't know how he computed that, if it's, but if he did it from mentally, it didn't work, obviously. And then this one, I'm going to take this guy. It's funny, he almost got it. He's almost got it. It's interesting. Okay, very good. Save, maybe other kind of thing. I don't like this noise all the time. Okay. I'm going to go to this deprecate business and I'm going to say right now, allow. I could turn off there, allow. I think deprecate, yeah? Okay. I'm not, I will fix that later, but I don't like that. Oh no. What do you do? Okay, so now I go there. I'm going to test all of this. And again, this is an example here. I could ask AI to kind of fix it with prompt, but that wouldn't have been efficient. I would have been in this kind of loop here. And, you know, it could have, but I don't even know because you will have to play it to be able to fix it, which doesn't work. So that is a little bit cumbersome because now I'm going to have to do all of these guys as well. But that's life. B58, CW2. I'm going to go over there. And I'm going to do okay, yeah, this one is a bit cumbersome here, but there could be a smarter way here. I wouldn't have need to do it. I could just probably run it. Okay, I'm going to go back there. Because the noise annoys me too much. So that's why I have these things where I can turn off, and then I can just focus on what I want. Actually. And then okay. Now, if I were smart, I would do something like that. CWT, that, and then I will go to this guy. I'm going to say, trusting the right. I go to this guy. trusting the right. One thing I could have done also is something like that. I'm going to show you another way I could have done. I don't know if I will have done it, but I could have done it is, let's see if it does that. This one is cumbersome. So now the thing with AI, honestly, is when there's cumbersome stuff, I'm thinking about how to use AI. Because this one is a pain. I have to go one by one and things. I don't want AI to try to run it by manually. I could at some point in Procoder, but that's language specific. But what I can do here is the following. So this is a good example of how I will do it. So it's still fail, okay, for this guy, for 3 guys. So I'm going to take the 3 guys. And I'm going to do like that. So I go back, I'd stop it, git status, git log, and so I'm going to git amend. This one usually is tricky because I'm going to amend something. Oh, I need git add. Okay. So this one is tricky because I'm amending something that breaks. Usually you don't have a commit, but I'm not pushing it to any repo here. I have it. Usually if I build some, create on something where there's more than one developers or whatever, I will be on a branch, but that's fine. Now I go back to my coder here, and this is super annoying because I don't want to go stuff, and I can put that there and to say text whatever. And can you fix the AIP hash test because some of the hash fixtures are not correct. Take it from below. Okay. That is hopefully we'll do a change over there, and I'm going to do a run on that. And then we'll see if it goes. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I think we're almost at the end. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add now once we have that, I can add the SHA. I don't think we have the SHA 512. Oh yeah, we have both. And then I will add the Blake. The only thing with Blake is I don't know if he knows the Blake API as well. So that's the only thing I'm not sure. So that is the thing. So that's why I did SHA first, because I know that this one he knows. And then after I do, I'm going to do the Blake. So that is the thing. Obviously, when I work alone, I go faster because I don't have to explain and stuff. But I do things like, for me, adding all of these things without AI would have been, I mean, I would have done it. It would have been cumbersome. The doc would have been out of sync and all of these kind of things. Yeah. So that's why I'm a big fan of things. Now I'm going to check. I always go back there. And this is not good at all. I don't know why you want whole haywire on this one. Wow. Wow. So this is why it's important to have, I don't want it to implement that. I don't know why I did that. Hash function is not correct. Only fix the test values to make sure it match the left side. I don't know why you want all Blake 3. And I think one of the reasons why it was not expensive, so that's a good thing. And I think the reason why is because it's so Blake 3 in the cargo to ML. And he make rightfully the assumption that to say, hey, now it's time to do Blake 3 because my last comment was kind of weird. It was take it or something like that. So kind of took it from there, I guess. So that is something So again, for the ones that are joining, we have a code base which is about Toki, which is about 28,000 lines of code. And we're adding features to it. We have added UIDs. So this is what we just added just before. All of these UUID APIs, which is here. We added all of those using AI with a crate, which is UID extension extra that I created yesterday also with AI. But the way that we use AI is not, good. Right now it's not good. It's not the vibe coding way. It's we're using actually AIPACK to code AIPACK. And that is what we're doing. But now the thing which is weird is, oh no, one error is fine. Oh, actually, whoa. Why? Why? So here's the thing. I want Blake, but I don't want it now because now he's getting all crazy. So I don't know. So I go. This is why for me it's very important to have a good Git thing such as stuff. And I don't know, can you fix the AIPy test? Because some of the hash fixtures for SHA are not correct. I'm not change anything else. So that is one of the things that is interesting here. That is, the power of live. Now I'm starting to regret to not have it done it by hand. It would have been faster. I had 3 more to go. I would have done boom, boom, boom. And so if it fails here, I'm going to do that. So this is one thing, at least for me, it's one thing which is important. It's not because sometimes we have bad experience. What we did today, for example, took me like 3 to 4 more time to do it by hand. And again, I would have made a lot of mistakes. So yes, this one is a little bit frustrating. I don't know what it's doing right now. The whole thing is haywire. It's a terrible demo. Okay. That is interesting. So now I can debug a little bit. That was a raw response. It didn't change anything. Okay. That's maybe. So now it's like almost in my head, I want to debug the thing to try to understand why the AI kind of went off into this thing. And it doesn't save anymore. Okay, somehow. Okay, so I'm going to save it by hand. So that is the left. We want the right. Base 64. Shaft 512. Oh. Okay. Epic fail. Often when, and this is me, often when he does like that, it didn't make sense, yeah? It didn't and stuff, he recreated a whole file, so what the hell? It's because I didn't give it in the context. So I asked to do the thing, but I forgot to give it in the context. So I want this one as an example. So in fact, the right way of doing it here, if I really wanted to work more on that, I will do this. I will go to working there. And now I will put that there. Again, this is the vibe coder won't be happy about this one. But again, I think that net value is higher. So now I have hash because it didn't have the hash file. This is why when it gets silly stuff, it's usually my fault more than the AI fault. So here I'm giving that as a context lob, and here I'm giving that in the working lob. That file could be there as well. The reason why I put it there is because now this will always be first. And when it's first on Claude and on ChatGemini and Claude as well, but Gemini and OpenAI, it will get cached. Okay? So this is one thing. And now, if we do that, even if we, now we run it, and now it should work. That was embarrassing. Okay, so that is the thing. And sometimes it does, yeah? So when it goes off, here it rewrites the whole file. It didn't make sense. And that is because I didn't give the file. So here I'm optimizing it much faster, created the files. If I go to the last response row, so I have the one that is going to use for prompt, and that is a row. And I get all the search replace. And it's very nice. It didn't recopy the whole thing. It works beautifully when I'm not silly. And then we had this, and we're going to see if it works beautifully. Yeah, it works. Okay, so now this is the thing. So all of these silly things was my fault. So now we have this. I'm happy with that. I'm going to comment out, git log to know where I am. I'm there, git amend. This is an alias that I have. It's just I amend the stuff. And now the last thing I want to do, and by the way, here I want a little bit ahead. Usually I wouldn't release that because I didn't release the runtime, I mean the AIPACK. So now we have an AI, I have this aip.uuid, which is a little bit out of sync, but it's fine. It's not too confusing, but I'm going to do the release soon. So now that we have this, the things that I want to add is, and I'm going to keep the rest, I'm going to want to add, and we have the prompt token, 4 cents, things. It's cool because that is what you want to optimize. This is where things start getting expensive. So now that we have this, we can say, hey, can you use Blake? Now, it might not use Blake, might not know Blake that way, Blake 3. So I'm going to go there, and I might copy paste that. I don't know if I want to have. So with Hasher, you have 2 ways: is you put the whole string at once, or you iterate, or you create a new one, you update it, and then things. Yeah, I'm going to. So using the Blake 3 API below, API example below, can you update AIP hasher.rs with AIP hasher dot Blake 3 string, and we're doing a string because in scripting binaries it's another business, and that with the X string, and then the other one with the pay. Okay, so like this I'm lazy, and I had actually a little Rust XP Blake 3. It's a video I did. Sometimes I use my videos. So keys, we don't care. Files, So this is the things where, what do you use? Yeah, I will do something like that. And so now what I'm saying is to say, hey, here's a quick example of the Blake 3 API. And this is, I'm not happy. Eventually, what I want to do as part of my thing is I want to be able to point almost to a Rust Procoder or Rust 10x, doc builder, whatever. You give it a repo or you give it a crate, and then it goes there and then it finds the right examples and everything, and then it creates one single page that, boom, you can put in. This will be awesome, and so I'm working on that, but I don't want the AIPACK to know it. I want the APIs of AIPACK to allow a pack to implement it. So that is a little bit the thing. So now I do this and okay. And now I'm going to run that. Okay, so that will. If anybody has any questions, feel free to ask. I'm not sure if people are still there or not. I'm going to see what it gives. If it doesn't compile, I'm going to pause it here. I think it's been 2 hours already. It's been enough. But that is a way that I kind of work. Yeah. So sometimes it doesn't give me. Sometimes I miss things. Sometimes the AI doesn't give me. But the whole point here is like today, for example, everything that we have created, I would have created by hand. It would have been much longer, and I would have made more mistakes. And I wouldn't have added all of the comments and everything. It would have been very laborious to add all of that. So again, for me, AI has been kind of changing the way that I do production coding for everything. And right now, 30 to 40% of the code is generated by AI. Now, the code design, it's very much me that I do. So this kind of design that I had with the script, the way it does the init and all of this, this is 100% me because I have to say it because otherwise it goes with whatever common stuff you found in the web. And unfortunately, there is more bad common stuff than good common stuff. But once you point it in the right direction, because it has a lot of knowledge, is very good. So we're going to see. So the last one was very cheap. This one is going probably to be a little bit more on the heavy side. Hopla. So let me see what he did. Hash. Am I happy? So that already I'm very happy with what he added there. It looks exactly what I wanted. I'm not happy with that because it should be all nil. So this is something that I might handle later. The function here. So the signature here should say string or nil, but actually I don't even know if it's a good idea. And then I'm going to press save. Sometime when you press save, that is what the compile errors. Doesn't compile error. Looks very good. So now usually what I do, I go back here, I click on this guy to see the normal files, and then I rely on this to see what has been added. It's very cool. Follow my best practices. Again, I mean, honestly, once you give the right mode and the right thing, AI, I mean, I don't understand why some people don't like to code with AI, because for me, it's kind of changed. This will have taken me a long time to do it. It's been frustrating. This one is good. That is good. There's a thing here eventually, not now. And I wouldn't have done it if it was by hand. But there is a thing that say, well, should I be more optimized here? If there were big files, should I be more optimized? There's one thing that I want to create at some point, and I'm not going to bug you here, is in files, in AIP files, I'm going to have a file underscore hash. such as I can say hash base Blake3 base 58, this file, but I don't want the string to come back to Lua because it's not needed. And so then after I can be Rust fast on a big file, and then Lua just get the hash, whatever format he wants. And so that is very cool. And that is one thing. There's a JSON like that where you can parse JSON. There's Markdown where you can select blocks and everything without getting the whole file on the Lua side. And so this is why this Lua and Rust, it's a very good pair for this kind of programmatic interfaces of a C++, Rust, or C runtime kind of thing. So that is pretty cool. And now if it follows my best practices, I should have the big or small endian. I never know how to call it, but this, perfect. So I have test Lua thing if I want to test all of the Lua hash, or I can do a test Lua this. I'm going to test all of the Blake guys. So I'm going to do CWT, which is a shell function, run it, and then boom, it fails again. So, and I think it fails because all of these left things, the same thing as before. And so what we're going to assume here is that everything is working fine because they look to be working fine. It's just AI trying to be over smart, trying to see things that it can, Blake stuff itself. And I don't know how it Blake stuff, by the way. So it cannot really Blake things. So I'm going to copy paste that. And here's my practice. I'm going to go there, git log. And I'm going to say git C, which is my stuff, plus AIP hash Blake, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So it's not finished because test passed, but I can mark this marker. Every time I run a new command, either I do a git restore or either I do a commit like this ahead. Yeah. So here I'm doing a commit ahead, and my plan is to do git amend later. So now that I have that, and I say, hey guys, it's like before, but now we fix my problem that I created before. And I say the Blake 3 test of AIP hash .rs do not pass because there's the wrong fixtures. Only. Okay. So value for those tests. Okay, so the right is the correct value. Okay, we do that. I could change it by hand. It will be very painful to do it by hand. And here I could use flash 2.5, I think. But sometimes, as we've seen before, sometimes it doesn't follow the search and replace. The previous request, oh, that was very fast. 4 cents, completion token, stuff. And sometimes Gemini doesn't cache as aggressively as OpenAI, but sometimes you will see the cache, which is nice. And then, no, it's funny, I have this there, whatever. And then, that's it. And can I do a cargo test over there? Boom, passed. So I'm pretty happy with that. This is a very nice API. And now I do this. I'm going to be git log, git amend. And that now I have these new features here, these new APIs. And again, I would have done it by hand. It would have been a pain. Now, what I want is, like before, remember, for the ones that are still there, and that is going to be the last, I promise. I want to update this guy, which is, again, no, sorry. This is something else. I want to update this guy, which is the default pack, which is installed, which has the all-in-one documentation, Lua documentation for the users. So this is where, if I go there, it's over there, base, pack, and that's get installed by default. And if you go to Lua APIs, I have all of the APIs there. And this, this is what goes to the website. Yes, a very clean website that I can, see the spec, but I can also include that in my coder to code AIPACK with the AIPACK. So now the thing obviously is we don't have the hash business here because we just did it. Yeah, so we just did the hash business. So we don't have it. So now what I want is to update this exactly as before, but we don't want to update everybody. Yeah, just these little parts. So now what we're going to say we don't need the HBS actually. This guy, I will remove it. Typically I put things back there. If I made multiple iteration and I want to be very optimum, I will put that in the working directories, but that's not really needed. And then I do something like I could go Flash, but I'm going to use JPro. I say update the by MD with the AIP hash APIs. Just update those following the patterns. Okay. Now I could go there and everything. So the source of truth of my documentation is the Rust comments over there that we saw. And now I'm tweeting that. I'm going to put that there. I'm going to back there. I'm going to say replay, and then it's going to go back there. Now there were very good comments yesterday about someone saying that in the AIPACK, what I'm going to show is on a session, which is from the time you do run until the time you do quit, I can actually keep track of how much we spent per model and the total and everything. So I'm going to try to keep kind of a running stats of the things, such as we can easily see, how much we spent. But it's sub-dollar, or it might be $1 or $2 today. And it saved me a lot of time. So it's definitely worthwhile. So now that we have that, it's going to update the doc over there. And the way that you install the AIPACK is built in Rust, fully open source, MIT license and things. You can do a cargo install AIPACK, or you can go and download the version over there. I have even a video that shows how I cross-compile Rust into all of these guys. So if you look at my video histories, and then once you have that, make sure that you have your API keys, and then you do a AIP install Pro add coder. That will install the Pro add coder, and usually you will do a Pro Rust 10x as well. That will install Rust 10x. And then you can do everything I've done. And then that's it. He updated this one, and hopefully he did the minimum things, which is awesome. It added a hash, which I will have added it next to the UUID guy, but that's fine. Let's put it there, even if probably it's not going to be. I need to rethink about the ordering. And then if I go down, he did that, which is perfect. Could be even more concise, yeah. I'm going to do a pass one of these days to make those guys more concise. It doesn't have to be that complex. And that's it. So now that we have that, git log, typically I do another commit, git c, doc for AIP, hash, git, and then I'm going to do a cargo test. Could have done it before, actually. But, look at that. That's fine. We'll do the stuff. Should have done before. I'm going to probably fix it by hand, this guy. I do my cargo watch test. That function. Go back there, complaints. And go back here. Print, raise, question mark, sorry. That is a string. I'm going to assume that everything goes fine. I mean, I could obviously check it and everything, but I'm going to assume that that is good. Paste it. And then that's it. Yeah. I have, yeah, I think this. Yeah, this seems right. Okay, I remove that. I'm going to do a search to make sure that I didn't, oh, I forgot that. Okay, I remove all of my debug prints. Go back there. I'm going to do a cargo test. Let's see, code clean, git log, staff, gold push, staff, and then I will do my release here. But this is pretty cool. And then I will take this one, put it on my website, and then people will go there and we'll see the new APIs. So that's it. So that is a way that I'm using AI for production coding and in Rust, really following my best practices, high control, but high velocity, I think. So obviously today was more kind of explaining and everything, but hopefully that was useful. So I don't know, I see that there's 5 people remaining here. Thanks a lot. Hope you enjoyed this video. For the live stream members, this will go in the archive. You can watch it whenever you want. And then I'm going to keep this one unlisted for the next few days, more probably at the end of the weekend. And then I will put it for the live stream members. So hopefully that was a good session. Sorry about the mishap again. I think would have been a little bit more people if I didn't mess up the original video, but that was still fun. So thanks a lot, everybody, and see you next time.